Anime for blondes.
Think about moving there.
Yeah.
Copy the Trash Taste guys even more. Trash Taste 2.0.
We're coming for you.
Aww. Do we need to do other?
Yep.
And...
Action!
Hello, I'm Becca.
I'm Allie.
And welcome to Anime for Blondes.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen.
You said we weren't doing the We're So Back.
Different. That's different than
so
We're
back.
So Back.
I'm so back.
She's so
from
back.
Japan.
Oh my god. She spent 2 weeks.
And too much money.
Yeah. In one of our favorite countries ever.
Yep. I mean, probably new favorite country for me. I told Taylor second favorite place we've ever gone.
What's your first?
Kauai.
Hawaii?
Kauai.
Where is that? What's that?
It's in Hawaii.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm uneducated. I didn't know
It's
that.
just one of the islands in Hawaii. Okay, this is so unrelated since we're doing the Japanese the Japan episode, but Kauai, the issue is that it's such a quick flight and it's amazing. If Japan was a quick flight, I think it would take it over, but it's also a beach location in Kauai, so it's
so true.
I love beach. But anyway,
okay, so
guys, this is the mini Japan episode, a little
yeah!
bonus.
We needed to dedicate time to talk about Becca's trip and some other related things that I felt very passionate about that came up while you were on your trip.
Because it was 2 weeks and I was gone, and she so graciously took care of the podcast while I was gone. Queen.
It was so hard.
She handled it like a champ.
Thank you.
I am so appreciative.
Thank you.
This podcast could not run without her, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm appreciative of all the content that you went and got for us.
Yes, I did get content. I feel like I didn't get as much content as I expected or in my head planned to, but dude, when you're on a trip like that, I always forget just how overwhelmed you get, and how it's you're so cut off from your regular life in the real world that you just are not thinking the same way. It's
also,
so weird.
It's more important that you were as present as possible.
Exactly.
And enjoyed your surroundings.
Exactly. And I didn't want to Taylor took me on the trip for our anniversary.
Yeah,
so
happy anniversary.
Special. Thank you. 8 years.
8 years is insane.
Insane. We were babies.
Yeah, you were freshmen.
We were 19.
Yeah.
19, and we're 27 now.
Oof.
Oof.
Oof. I can feel time moving. Oh, you know what though? 8 years for you and Taylor, 4 years for you and me.
No way.
Because I found from our Instagram messages when we actually started messaging and what I consider to be our friendship anniversary, very awkward, November 6th.
November 6th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bad day this year.
It was
also,
a good... Ironic, because when we talked about originally, I was telling you that me and Lenore decided on an arbitrary day, and it's November 2nd. And
I
was
know.
So it can't be November 2nd. You're okay, 4 days after.
It's not November 2nd, but
I have too many this is too many anniversaries all in one. October 17th is mine and Taylor's, and then November 2nd is mine and Lenore's, and then November 6th is ours.
The messages don't lie, unfortunately. Because when we started actually messaging and being friends, it was election day 2020.
Yep. Better times.
That was I was such happy wine drunk that day.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember being in shock in a good way, not a bad way.
Yep.
But
here we are, but we're not here to talk about that.
Yeah, we don't care. We don't care to get political. We'll get political all the time, but we don't want to. We've had a hard week.
We've had a long, hard week.
We're clocking in. We're having fun.
And this podcast is our happy place. This is for you to come to listen to two girlies have a good time.
So don't get it twisted. You guys know where we stand, but we want some escapism for you.
Yeah.
And for ourselves.
I've been looking forward to this forever. I've been hanging on for the podcast.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Living for the podcast. Life is worth living.
So,
We're gonna get copyright struck for that because we sing so well.
Yeah. Actually, I'm never playing a song on the podcast
Yeah.
again. We're just gonna sing. So I'm sorry, listeners. You're gonna have to listen to us sing every time we make a song reference. Can't play it.
We're such beautiful singers.
We could be worse.
I'm working late
because I'm a singer. We did see her also.
Yeah.
This is my gosh,
we have so
related.
much. We have so much catch up with.
We did so many things.
We did because we took. I mean, breaking the fourth wall. We took a little break so that we could focus on posting the episodes, and then I could go to Japan.
Her trip.
And so we're like getting back on the grind, and there's been so much that happened. Your birthday happened.
Oh yeah, I turned 27.
We're both 27 now. It's our golden birthday years, both of us. Mm-hmm. So fun.
You had your trip.
I went to Japan, which is what we're mainly going to be talking about.
Okay, tell us about your trip.
First, should we start with some souvenirs?
Oh my god. I've been waiting so patiently.
Dude, we haven't given anybody their souvenirs yet because we keep wanting to like have all of our groups to like together, you know, when we do it. And we haven't been able to do that yet. Let's see.
Okay. For the listeners only, she pulled out a bag with stars. Oh, yep, get that ASMR.
Okay, I have 3 gifts for you, and we have a more podcast themed one.
Okay.
We have a more like you themed one.
It's something pink.
And we have a more like it's kind of like this is my gift to you. It's like
okay.
Does that make sense?
Well, that's the one I'm most curious about.
So should we start with that?
Yeah.
It's a little more neutral.
Okay.
It's kind of random.
Okay, that's fine. Is it ramen?
No.
Okay.
It's shoelaces.
Oh, and it's got our colors on it.
Yeah, it's our colors, and I thought it would go cute with your pink sneakers. I convinced her to get those, and then she was sending me options, and I was like checking to make sure that they would match the shoelaces before I said yes.
Okay, these are perfect. They'll match great.
Exactly, and we can like bead them and charm them with the trims I gave you. I just thought that'd be cute because I've been doing that with my shoes, and so I thought it would be fun.
That is cute. I haven't taken the initiative to buy shoelaces yet. So to the average person, this might be like, why shoelaces? But this makes sense for us.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I thought it'd be cute. We can both have our little cute shoes.
I love.
Now let's go more you themed one, less podcast related.
I'm ready. A pink bow hair tie.
It is an Aurora bow from Tokyo Disney Sea.
She lied to you. It's not Aurora.
What?
It's Rapunzel. It's Rapunzel.
Are you sure?
That is absolutely...
Does she have long hair?
Yes, that is Rapunzel's silhouette. Which is fine, because Rapunzel's my favorite, so as it should be.
That's so weird, because there was a separate Rapunzel one, and then I thought that one was Aurora, but okay.
This is definitely Rapunzel, but that's
it works even better.
Yeah, it's even better. I can't wait to wear it. I'll wear it tomorrow.
I thought that was very cute.
I love it. I love the little charm. I can never have too many bows.
Yes. The Tangled ride, oh my god.
Just watching, I got so emotional watching your video of it.
Dude, Taylor was a little bit of a hater. He was like, because he didn't care to go to Disney, but he was like, it's really special for you, so let's do it. We did like a quick little half day there, and then I was like, as long as we get on the Rapunzel ride, like successful day, I don't care about anything else. And we got on immediately. If you know, it is difficult to get on the Rapunzel ride because it's so new, and Fantasy Springs in general, that like little new ride area, you have to get a like special pass to get in, and you can't just buy it. It has to be like day of. You get like, it's like fast pass kind of like you're in the app and you're like clicking trying to get it really quick.
That's so stressful.
It's so stressful. So there was no guarantee that we were going to get to go on the Rapunzel ride,
just like the Star Wars ride in Disney land.
Yeah. So I was super excited. We that was our first thing. We went right there. We got the
and
pass
then you left immediately after.
We didn't leave immediately after. But it was just so nice to get that out of the way, and we were riding it, and it is like a little kid's ride. Like it's not super exciting or anything. It's like it's really the experience of like going through, and you're seeing like the story, and the animatronics are amazing, and just the like visuals are like so perfect and gorgeous and special. And I was just like in awe. It was so amazing. And Taylor was like, that was like the ride you were super excited about? Because it wasn't super
Yeah.
exciting.
He wouldn't understand.
Exactly.
It's not for him.
Exactly. And the funny thing too is, I guess, like, we just have different interests. Like, I don't really talk to him about Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, I didn't know that Rapunzel was your favorite princess.
That's crazy.
I know. I was like, wait, that's so funny.
I knew Rapunzel was your favorite princess because she's also my favorite princess.
Exactly. And it makes sense because, like, that's what we would talk
Yeah.
about. And I talk about that stuff with, like, my other little Disney friends. But I thought that was so fun. Just a reminder, everybody, even after 8 years, you can still learn
New things about each other.
I thought that was fun.
Knowing who his mom and sisters are, the fact that you guys don't talk about Disney is...
See, that's the thing, though. So his family, being huge Disney adults, including you, since you're his family, is a blessing and a curse because
he's sick of it.
He's sick of it. He, like, likes it, but not, like, he doesn't love it. And so it's like he'll take it or leave it, really. He's not, like, super negative about it, which is fun. But you guys and his sisters and mom are, like, so into it. So I get to experience that with you guys, and it's so special. And just, I don't know, it was so fun. I feel like Rapunzel reignited my childhood wonder, if that makes sense.
Love of whimsy.
Yes, because here's my issue. I promise we'll get to Japan soon, guys. Here's my issue is that I was the youngest. I am the youngest. And so a lot of the times if you're the oldest or if you have younger siblings, you get to kind of hold on to your childlike wonder a little longer. You get to, in the way that, like, they're still watching stuff, they're still doing stuff, so you get to, like, participate in it with them. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I understand your logic there. All the older siblings listening are screaming.
We're not talking about, like, I'm parentified. How do you say that? Parentified?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about being parentified. I'm talking about
you get to experience more childhood stuff because you have younger siblings.
You get to experience it longer because
stuff.
And you're kind of forced to, like, you have to do the little, like, childhood traditions longer. You get to, like, Taylor has seen a lot more like Barbie movies than me because he was watching them with his little sisters and they're younger. Whereas I reached a point where I was like, okay, I'm kind of, like, not into kid stuff anymore. So I kind of stopped watching it. No one was making me watch it. So I kind of moved on to, like, Disney Channel versus, like, Disney movies and cute stuff pretty early on, like elementary school. And then I wasn't gonna see Tangled. I was, like, already kind of past Disney movies. I was like, that's, like, childish. Because we were, like, 12 when it came out. 11, 12.
Junior high.
And I went to the movies with my best friend and her family. They were going to see a rated R movie, and I wasn't allowed to see rated R movies. So we went and saw Tangled by ourselves instead. And that really, like, reignited my childhood wonder and whimsy. And I was like, I want to be a Disney adult so bad. And now I get to live that life.
I'm so happy that you had that experience and that you, like, have that magic in you. Yeah.
That's so fun, and it's fun that I have you and the rest of Taylor's family to experience it with.
Yep. Even if Taylor never wants to watch another Disney movie, we will watch them.
And you know what? Sometimes we watch a Disney movie, and he knows the songs better than me. He knows we watched Enchanted, and I love Enchanted.
I love Enchanted.
And dude knows the songs better than I do.
That makes sense, though. They played that movie so much.
I love them so much. Dude, counting my blessings forever. Crazy.
Yeah. Yep. You're super lucky.
Best thing to ever happen to me.
Not to get sappy.
Yeah.
But on your anniversary trip.
Literally. Took me to Japan for our anniversary. Such an angel. And he is just so sweet. Like, he's so fun to travel with. He's so, like... I know he's your cousin, so you're like, he's lame.
It's okay. No. He was, like, one of my favorite cousins growing up. So, like...
T.
I get it. I really do. And you can gush about him to me. I love seeing you happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we wouldn't be here.
And no, literally. Hey, Taylor, I know you listen to these. Thank you so much for finding the person with the other half of my brain cell and forcing her into our family. I'm obsessed. And yeah, I'll always be grateful to you for that.
Ugh, that's so fun. Okay. Now onto the podcast-related thing.
All right. Is it stationary?
It's not stationary, but it's close.
It's a Gojo
A
pen.
Gojo pen.
I love it. This is young Gojo. This is teen.
Is it really?
Yep.
Dude, and he looks cute. He has his
He's
glasses
so
on. His hair is
cute.
down.
Yep.
That's
I love it.
That's Gojo I like.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This is gonna be my prized pen.
I knew I needed to get you something Gojo, something Jujutsu Kaisen,
Of course.
obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but what do I get her? And then I don't know. I feel like you're just such a little journaler and writer.
For sure.
I thought the pen would be fun, and you can just like think about him and have your cute little pen.
Yes. Yes, my journal time is sacred. And I can't wait to use this.
ASMR.
Did you make it to Shibuya?
I did make it to Shibuya. It was
Okay.
so weird, like just not knowing what's gonna happen because we haven't watched those episodes yet.
She does not know what the hell is happening in Shibuya.
So I filmed some stuff there. I made like a TikTok, but it's like I don't even know. I feel like I'm gonna watch the episodes and be like, that's not what I needed to film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like once I get it, I'm gonna be like, oh,
Yeah, spoiler alert, we did not reach the goal of getting all the way through it before you left
we did not.
because life happens.
Life happens.
Mm-hmm.
We had way too much to focus on, but honestly, that just means that we have to go back to Japan together.
Yes, we do.
When we get it.
That's the ultimate goal. We have to blow up so that we can go to Japan together and get all of the content and record podcasts in Japan.
Oh my god, imagine recording a podcast in Japan. That'd be so fun.
I know. That's my dream.
This is our goal. Please help us reach our in the arms of an angel.
For only one listen a week, you can support two blonde girls' dreams of taking a girls' trip to Japan together to record their anime podcast. Please sacrifice just 1 hour of your time a week and a follow on Instagram.
Please,
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Thank you
Please.
for your time. Do you want to tell us about your trip?
This should just be an ongoing. We never talk about Japan. Like
we
just,
never.
At the end, I'm like, okay,
We
so
set aside
finally
this.
getting to Japan, and then we cut it. Japan. What are the? Ask me some questions. Let's get started with that.
Okay. Did you go to the Sailor Moon store?
No.
I told you one thing.
Here's the thing. I was in Shibuya. I was like, let me look up where the Sailor Moon store is.
Because you're British.
Yeah,
as always.
in Japan. And I told you, I was like, if it's like convenient, we'll go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a train ride away. Like it's Shibuya still, but it's not like near Shibuya Crossing. So it's like
Okay.
we would have had to like get on the train, go like further from our where we're actually staying, and like in order to go to it. And so I even looked because I also wanted to get one of those coffees that like have the latte art.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted one of those, and I was like, oh, maybe that will be like near it, and then we can like have two things, kill two. This is a Japan anecdote. I've been obsessed with. Have you seen that? Like the woke, the woke are like switch, kill two birds with one stone to feed two birds with one scone.
This
Have
is
you
brand new
seen
information.
this?
I've never heard this before in my life.
This is old. This is like a year or so old. That there was like this whole list of like idioms that were like wokeified.
Nope. That is not the section of the internet I've been on.
And so, for some reason, all of Japan, I was like, ironically but unironically, I kept saying,
feed two birds with one
and then
scone.
Taylor started saying it. That one's so insane to me. Feed two birds with one scone.
You're not supposed to feed birds scones.
That's
first
so
of
bad
all.
for them.
Like, first of all. So, second of all.
But however, you are supposed to kill them with stones.
You got me there. You know what? No, I'm pro wokeifying phrases that involve killing animals.
I love that one because it's like so close to the original, and it's just like a little silly.
Yeah.
I love that one.
It's like if someone's not really paying attention and you say it that way, they might not even notice.
Exactly.
They might not even notice you said it differently.
So I was gonna say I was like, oh, maybe we can like feed two birds with one scone and go there, and they were not anywhere near each other, so we didn't end up going to either. So
That's fine.
if that makes you feel better. And this was our last day in Japan that we went. So
Yeah. You guys getting sick really.
Yes. Unfortunately, we did get sick midway through, which it's like at this point,
Just expect it. If you're
exactly.
traveling internationally, assume you're gonna get sick. Schedule time for it.
And pack medicine.
Pack medicine.
Yeah, we got a little bit sick kind of midway through, like after our first week there, which it was pretty inconvenient because it was like when we were supposed to go to our little night trip in Hakone and then our weekend in Kyoto. So it put a little bit of a damper on those, but I mean, I don't know. It's like sometimes you go on a trip like that and you have a lot of expectations and then you're disappointed that you weren't able to do everything and it's like, yeah, and we're only gonna be here once. Like I wanted to do that. Like I really wanted to. But then like I kind of have to remind myself like this is an insane experience that I'm experiencing that I never thought I would get to. And who cares if I didn't get to do one or two things? I got to do all of these other amazing things, you know?
And we'll get to do what you missed when you and I
We can go to
go.
the Sailor Moon store.
Oh, and you best believe we will.
And I've been watching Sailor Moon.
Oh, she told me, okay, this was crazy. I was at work and she told me that she started watching Sailor Moon because one of her friends has the original dub on DVD. Which I could, I'm not gonna get started on, but
Okay.
so she told me she started watching the original Sailor Moon. I'm at work. I got really emotional. I almost started crying because I love Sailor Moon so much, but I was never going to force you to watch it because it's 200 episodes. And I don't want to, like, I want you to enjoy something because you enjoy it. I don't want to make you watch 200 episodes of something that you just don't care about.
Yeah.
So the fact that you did this on your own and
on my own.
Well, another friend made you do it.
I was just forced by
also,
another friend.
Yeah, but I didn't force you.
Luckily enough for you, I have people from all sides trying to make me a nerd.
Perfect.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I cannot keep up with all these people trying to make me a freaking nerd.
Do you like Sailor Moon so far?
It's cute, yeah.
Yeah.
I did watch it as a kid. I don't know if I've mentioned that.
Nope, that's new.
But I was pretty young. Like I don't remember it at all. But I remember like the theme song. Like it started playing and I was like, oh my god, I actually remember this from like a child. But I was like probably like 5, so I don't remember any of the plot or anything.
I remember watching it and I remember having my mom put my hair in pigtails with like those hair ties that have the giant balls. Yes, exactly. Because she has like those like little ball things.
Yeah.
So I would have her put my hair in pigtails and then I would like run around in my like one piece like swimsuit pretending to be Sailor Moon.
Cute.
So yeah, I'm really happy you started watching it. I'm glad you like it. Sailor Moon is near and dear to my heart. So yeah, I got really emotional when you said you started watching it.
Yeah, I knew you would appreciate that. I thought you were gonna say you got really emotional that I was watching it with someone else. I was nervous.
I mean, no. It's okay. Like I said, I was never gonna make you watch it anyways. It would be cool if we could watch some of it together sometimes. I would like to be included.
I did. So I was hanging out with this friend this morning and she was like, what are you guys gonna do for your season 2? And I was like, we haven't decided yet. And she did say, she's like, Sailor Moon. I was like, yeah, all 200 episodes. And she was like, there is a new series that's shorter.
There is. It's called Sailor Moon Crystal. I think it started in 2018. And the final installment of it, Sailor Moon Cosmos, just like became available in America.
Ooh.
On Netflix. And the thing about Crystal is, yes, it's shorter. You don't get as much time with all the characters, so a lot of the character development feels forced or like you don't get to know them as well. But it's actually a lot closer to the manga. Because the thing about the original series is the original series was airing as the manga was airing. So they had to pad, and an episode would come out every week, but not a chapter would come out every week.
Yeah.
So they had to like pad the story with extra like battle. That's why it feels so formulaic. They would have these monster of the weeks or like little adventure of the weeks.
It's like a filler type vibe.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So that's why there's so much of like the original Sailor Moon, whereas Sailor Moon Crystal, they just take like the story beats from the manga and turned it into a show.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some parts about it that I like better than the original, and there's some parts of the original that I like better than Crystal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love that.
I am a Crystal defender.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say I like it more, but I will always defend it.
I love that. While in Japan, I did watch something else.
Oh my god. So, also while I'm at work,
Just always at work.
I'm always at work when she's texting me. On October 13th at 4:16 p.m. our time, Becca texted me, also, my new fave anime is Sword Art Online. And I responded...
Is that how I texted it?
Yes.
I just said it just like that.
Yep. Also, new fave anime is Sword Art Online. And I responded with the Pikachu face sticker, which is my favorite sticker that I send
a little too much.
We're not talking about my use of the Pikachu face.
Yes.
We're talking
about my new problematic fave.
Yeah. So, I made some notes. This was such a crazy thing to hear. And like Becca doesn't know why I'm like why I'm like freaking out that she said this. I said, that's like an interesting take. How far are you? She said, oh, I'm on episode 10.
It was so good at episode 10, guys. We were thriving at episode 10.
And I was like, oh, that's why it's your favorite.
Okay, and here's the thing, to be so for real, is I feel like this is Taylor's fault.
No, it is! It's
like everything else.
Because she said that he said this was the anime that got him to start watching anime.
And it's true.
As it did. Okay, Sword Art Online came out in 2012.
We're getting the history.
And it was a lot of people's first anime.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, this is my notes.
Okay, go.
I'm fully aware that a lot of people's first anime were problematic and cringy. My first was Ouran High School Host Club. That doesn't super count because it's a satire on a romance anime. But still, it's got like problematic elements. So like that's not okay, even though the cringe in this show makes me sick. I don't really begrudge the show's overall quality based on that alone.
Mm-hmm.
But what I hate more than cringy dialogue and flat characters that have no personality, is wasted potential. And the thing about SAO is the whole series should have been SAO. The whole show should have been the game Sword Art Online. And full disclosure, I do have a Kirito sticky toy on my rearview mirror in my car.
Full disclosure, I do now have an Asuna sticker, a huge one on my water bottle. Look at my water bottle, guys.
It's so cute! She's got a giant Asuna sticker, a Sukuna sticker.
Everything are like...
I knew Sukuna was your fave. I knew you were a Sukuna girl.
No.
I know, it just matches your color scheme and that's why you got it.
Yeah, it matches the podcast color scheme.
So true. Okay, so please tell me, before I get more into this, please tell me about your experience watching Sword Art Online.
So we're in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor's like, we should have an anime that we watch while we're in Japan. Yes.
Reasonable.
That's so fun. That's so cute.
And you'll always be able to look back.
Exactly. I'm like, that's so fun, so cute. He's like, so I had told him recently, actually, like, oh, I maybe want to watch Sword Art. Like, he had kind of talked to me about how that was his first anime and, like, the basic plot. And I kind of knew the basic plot, too, because when he watched this as his favorite anime, my friend is just going to come up a bunch, but same
friend.
Same Sailor Moon friend. She is the one that introduced him to it, and I think it was her first anime too. They both watched, other than Sailor Moon and like that.
It was
type
a lot
thing.
of people's first anime.
So they both watched that together as their first anime, and I just watched it with them, but I didn't really pay attention. I would just be on my phone or I would do whatever. But I did kind of watch it like it was in the background.
Sure.
So I knew the basic plot. I knew like the vibes. and I knew that they had both like liked it. He did stop watching it at season 2, and so, and I don't think that like the rest of it had come out at that point. So he had talked like, yeah, I did like it. Like it got a little cringy and like weird, but like I had never finished it, and I had told him before Japan like I might want to watch that. Like it kind of sounds like a fun plot. I
Mm-hmm.
really like kind of Truman Show esque things or like
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that story. I WandaVision.
I think that Becca is going to be an isekai fan
Okay,
the more we watch.
okay. I don't know
Uh,
what that means.
Isekai is like alternate reality.
I could see that. I like when normal people are in an alternate reality.
Yes.
I think that's really fun.
That's what it is.
So then we're in Japan, and he's like, "What should we watch?" I'm like, "Well, we might as well watch Sword Art. Like we had kind of been talking about it." We start watching it. That show is so good. I'm watching it. I'm like, "This is everything. I like. This is the perfect anime." We're shopping. We're shopping, and I see this sticker, and I'm like, should I get this sticker? Taylor's like, yeah, that's super cute. I love her. I'm like, yes, slay queen. And I tell him, I say, Taylor, look me in the eyes and tell me that I won't regret this.
You said that?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Because I didn't want her to turn out to be evil. That's what I was thinking.
Okay, got it.
So it was still early on enough that I was like, is she going to betray him? Like, is something
Mhm.
bad going to happen to her? Something like that. So I'm like, will I regret this, or will I continue to like her and like be happy about it? He's like, no, I don't think you'll regret it. Like, she's a good character.
Okay.
Which she is.
She's a good character.
As far as I've seen, because I...
Yeah, okay, yeah, tell me. At what point did you guys give up?
We did stop at the end of season 1.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think we have any plans to continue watching.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. That first arc is perfect. That first Sword
It should have
Art
been the
Online
whole
arc,
show.
yes, it is so perfect. And there was even a moment where they're getting, like, because they do a time skip in the very beginning. And I was like...
I'm gonna talk about that later.
They do a time skip, and I was like, wait, what? Why would they do a time skip? Like, and Taylor was like, you thought the whole show would be them in the video game? I'm like, yeah, I kind of did. He's like, oh, you don't even know what's coming. I'm like, okay, so like maybe there will be some cool things outside of it. No.
No.
So I really loved that first arc before they leave.
Everyone loves that first arc.
It's so good, and it could have been the whole show, and it would have been perfect. And then the fairy arc is like just slowly worse and worse and worse and worse.
And when she texts me and she's like, the sister? Why?
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 And I know that that's like a thing in anime, and like I looked it up. It's actually legal to marry your first cousin in Japan.
Yeah.
So that's like part of it, I guess. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but why? What, like, he's like, we're siblings. She's like, I know that we're not siblings. I'm like, you're cousins.
You're cousins, but also you were raised as siblings.
Exactly.
Like, there's no reason. Like, if you didn't find this out externally, you would have never known that
Exactly.
he wasn't your biological brother.
Why would you have a crush on him?
No,
I'm like, girl, you just missed your brother while he was in the game. Like,
Yeah.
just be his sister.
yeah.
And also, she's like younger.
Yep.
I'm like, dude. And then just, oh god, it was so. And then I feel bad for her.
Uh-huh.
And then it's like, ugh, it just is so bad, that second part of season 1.
Yeah. Okay, so Taylor says he's seen season 2. And I know from everyone else that when people say season 2, they mean the fairy arc, which is the second half of season 1. I've seen some people say it's like the original season 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew from other people that when they say season 2, they usually mean the fairy arc. So I asked him, so you've seen season 2, tell me what you mean by that. And he said the fairy arc. And I was like, okay.
Yikes.
All right. So I think we agree we're not going to review SAO all the way through.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So I want to get all my thoughts out in one episode.
Okay.
And I thought since this is a bonus episode, this is a good time to do it.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to start out with the positives about it, because there are positives,
Mhm.
you know? So positives. Good love story, which is rare for a male targeted audience, which I think is why you liked it and why you were
loved
invested.
that love story.
Yeah. they're cute together. Next best part, if you're watching the English dub, a beloved voice actor. When I was
Love him.
so I put it on because I was like, okay, I'm gonna refresh my memory since she's watching this. So I put it on, and Malachi's and like something's happening. Malachi's in another room, and he goes, "Oh, is that Bryce Papenbrook screaming about something?"
Classic. That's
Classic. He
dude.
loves screaming about stuff.
That's my man.
That is my man.
That's my man.
Yeah.
I love him.
I love him too. And so, the sub part of this pro, beloved voice actor Bryce Papenbrook, is there's a line of dialogue that he says when they confess their love to each other. He says, "My life belongs to you. I want to stay with you until the end." And I went,
yeah,
hearing his voice say that is so...
Dude, and then finding
so
out
happy.
that they're like 16, 17.
Oh my god. Okay.
Having a child.
Oh my god. Okay. Next positive thing, banging opening theme song in the first season. So good. One of the best. General concept, really good. You're trapped in a game. It's a fantasy game. These are all people who have real lives and they're just trapped in this game. And classic, you die in the game, you die in real life.
I told Taylor, I was like, this appeals to everybody.
Yeah.
Or like this appeals to like every guy basically, because it's like it's video game, anime, and medieval.
And romance.
Yes, but like the video game being medieval themed is like such a little... It's so crazy because guys love medieval.
And guys
love video games. Guys love anime.
Yep.
And somehow they were able to do all three.
Yeah. And then one of my friends told me to add this onto the pro list. I don't play games, so I wouldn't know this, but they said it has good game sound effects.
It is very good for video games. Like it's
Yeah. Okay. Now I would like to talk about the negatives.
Okay.
And
Preach,
contrary to popular belief, then negatives do not begin just with the fairy arc. The negatives begin far before that for me. Okay, first of all, wasted potential caused by power scaling. If the whole show is just the Sword Art Online as it should be, then you don't have this problem. But because they end the game in the 11th episode, and then they continued to have 2.5 more full seasons, they had to like make it, bigger. And that is, I think, almost always one of the worst things you can do for your story. Is the stakes always have to be higher because you used the best villain and the best arc in the very beginning and you rushed through it. Okay.
And just threw it away.
Okay, next, gratuitous essay.
Oof.
Yes, it has very cringy fan servicey shots in the first, arc. I can mostly forgive that.
I thought it was fine.
That's just like a symptom of anime.
Yeah, it was way worse in the second arc.
Second arc, way worse. And then the actual essay happening at the very end.
That was crazy.
It went on for so long.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was crazy because it was like, I don't know, like at first they were kind of teasing it and it was a little bit like, oh, this is uncomfortable. This is uncomfortable, but like it's like, okay, we're selling this,
Right.
But then it just was so weird.
It went on for way too long and it got really weird.
And I kept being, because it tells you, it's like, rated this for sexual violence in the beginning. And I kept being like, what sexual violence is going to happen to it? He's like, oh, that happens like season 2, the fairy arc. And I was like, what is going to happen? And then when that happened, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
What the heck?
I kept having to pause it and walk away and then come back.
It was so unexpected. Like it just wasn't even in the same tone.
No.
I feel like they could have done something similar in the same tone, but this tone was just completely weird.
Okay. I do consider this a flaw. Main character with inconsistent characteristics, no traits that are defining enough. Essentially a blank slate for teenage boys to project themselves onto. Some people might view this as a pro. I do not.
You don't like a Mary Sue?
No, I don't. Okay. Some people... Okay, I prefer it when characters are well-rounded and have strong motivations and characteristics. Good example, Yuji and Sukuna. Yuji, like, I mean, he might be considered a Mary Sue depending on your definition, but we know who he is. He has a strong personality, and we know exactly who Sukuna is, and they're both interesting to watch. Bryce Papenbrook, I love you so much. I love your voice. I love listening to you. But you voice some cringy ass characters. And the thing is, they like that's the thing, is like they're blank enough for boys to project themselves onto. And that's part of the appeal for some people, but I hate it.
Okay. I don't think that that's as much of a con.
I get it.
I think that's a more personal preference thing.
I get it. And that's me. Like I said, cringy as hell dialogue. Big con, incest plot, because why?
So unnecessary. Not even like a subtle incest plot either.
No, it's just like, it's not even like, ooh, maybe this tension is weird. Like Life with Derek, that tension was weird.
Yeah, and like, I feel like you see that in a lot of animes where it's like there's some energy there, but it's not like outright.
It's never explicit.
Or they're not actually siblings, or like not actually related. The fact that they were cousins, I was like, that's crazy that they're actually going through with this. Because in Attack on Titan, Eren and Mikasa, it's like that's kind of the thing, and they're raised as siblings from the time they're like a little older kids, and it's like it's still a little weird, but it's like I can see how that would happen, and it's not like that weird.
Yep.
This one, it's just like
you're raised as brother and sister from before you have memories.
It just didn't feel like there was even anything that like should have made her like him.
Yeah,
like it didn't feel necessary at all. And it was just sad because he was never going to like her back.
He was never going to like her back. He already has plenty of love interests. He already has a primary love interest. And it was just...
He had a primary love interest that he married in-game.
Yeah. Which, marrying in-game... Going from having in-game video game sex to the next episode being like, we should get married.
I love
when you're 16, that's crazy.
That's so romantic. But is it crazy? Because I feel like that is I feel like that is the least crazy thing to do when you're 16.
Actually, because in game they're 18 because they say 2 years have passed before that happens.
But because when they tell each other how old they are, they're 17 and 16, I think, and time had already passed at that point.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she's like, when they're getting together, she's like, am I older than him? Blah, blah, blah. And then they find out a little bit later. She's like, I'm 17. He's like, I'm 16. And they had already been in the game for a long time at that point. So.
Okay. That brings me to my next con.
And she's still 17 during the fairy arc. Because they can't actually get married. And somehow the guy being adopted into the family is the same as marriage. That's what they say. Because, so you know how the guy's gonna try to marry her?
Yeah.
Kirito's like, you can't do that. And he's like, yeah, we know we can't, but her dad is just gonna adopt me, and it's basically the same thing. I was like, how? That just makes you siblings!
Once again.
I know that there's gotta be some, like, Japanese explanation. I don't understand it.
Yeah. I think it's meant to be weird, even in, like, Japanese context.
Yeah. I definitely, like, I looked it up. I was like, is it normal to marry your cousin? And people were like, it's not normal, but, like, it's commonplace enough and legal enough that, like, they can have it in this, and that's why it becomes this, like, fetishized thing.
Yeah.
But it's not actually something that's...
that common.
Yeah.
Okay, next. They say 2 years have passed, but we don't see any of it. They say 2 years have passed in episode 8, and then, like I said, continued to have a whole 2.5 seasons. Do you know how much content we could have gotten out of those 2 years? How much character development we could have gotten? How many love interests and side quests? I'm sorry, there was no reason. If you're gonna say that there's been 2 years, show us the 2 years.
It's so unnecessary.
It's so unnecessary. That's like my biggest problem with this show.
They didn't even need to, like, it didn't have to go through all of the years, but they could have showed some of the stuff.
Yeah.
And they started out doing that.
Yep.
Like, in the beginning, the first few episodes, it's like him in the very beginning, him a little bit in,
like a week,
him with another month. Like, situation. And it's like, that would have been cool if they just kept doing that the whole time.
And then he's like, 2 years have passed. Excuse me? Where?
When that happened, I was so devastated. I was like, no, they're just time skipping.
And then Taylor's like, you didn't think this was gonna be, like, the whole show was gonna be them in the video game.
I'm
did
like,
you?
well, yeah, I did, actually.
Actually.
So, put on my clown makeup.
Next, beater is the stupidest thing I'd ever heard.
That was insane. No way.
The line of dialogue is, he's not just a beta tester, he's also a cheater. He's a beater. It was so stupid.
Every time something like that happened, I was like, Taylor? And Taylor was like, I told you there's some cringy moments.
Oh, I'm so glad he let you know that ahead
Like,
of time.
I didn't imagine it would be like this. They also kind of completely dropped the whole, like, beater issue, really. Like,
Yep.
they would kind of bring it up every once in a while, but it wasn't actually that big of an issue.
They would just bring it up in dialogue, like, oh, you don't want to mess with him, he's one of them beaters.
Yeah, dude, and I can't even say beater. Like, that's so
It's,
cringy.
I feel sick to my
It's
stomach
so,
saying
like,
it.
come on. Are we actually 13-year-old boys?
Literally. Next con, girl sacrifices herself for the guy trope. Hate that. Because he also died the very next second, anyways.
Yeah.
It did nothing. He also got stabbed.
That whole thing really didn't make any sense to me, how it all ended up, but
No.
it's fine. My main con with this is they didn't explain enough. They did not explain, like, anything. There was so much that was like,
You
this
just had
is
to
how
make
it is now.
assumptions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my biggest con with this show.
And that's also because it was rushed.
Yep.
For no reason. I'm saying that's like the biggest issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so jumping that to the end, villain's motivation. Okay. He says this at the very beginning. Okay? The villain's motivation. He says he wants to be a god and to control a world of his own making. He says this in the very first episode. They get to the end and they're watching the game land fall out of the virtual sky, and they're like, why did you do this? And he says, I don't remember. I don't remember why I did any of this. I don't know why I killed.
I remember.
Hundreds.
It was
of
only
people.
like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
At this point.
Oh, okay. I didn't write this down. Okay, I did, but later on. This isn't one of my points. They make a big deal about how there's 100 floors and you have to clear all 100 floors before you beat the game. What floor? What floor do
They're
they
like
have?
63 or something.
74.
Bro.
What was the point of having 100 floors if you're gonna rush through the whole game? We don't see them clear all these floors, but suddenly they're on floor 74, and then you don't even make it to the 100th floor. Again, the overall, okay, I've said it enough, but basically my biggest problem with SAO is the wasted potential.
Yep.
It could have been a perfect let's say shonen.
Yeah.
And it just kept getting worse and worse. And yeah, each season continues to get worse. I wrote Death Gun, which is the villain of the second season, because they're playing gun video games now. Stupidest villain name. So here's my argument. If you're gonna continue the story, because like they do guns, you know, and then they do another type of video game later on.
Okay.
You have 100 floors in the original Sword Art Online, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we don't see. Those, and then you have like the fairy arc.
Mm-hmm.
You could have different floors on the same video game as Sword Art Online. Like you can have different floors be different themes in that game. Like if you want the characters to, if you want to like see these characters go through an arc where they're like shooting guns or like a first person shooter game, you can do that on one of the floors because you have 100 levels to work with here. It doesn't all have to be like the fantasy game.
Well, and that was the whole thing, is that there was floors that were like whole different, like,
but we didn't see it.
environments and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they could have just gone into that a little bit more and showed us more of that.
Yep. There's literally a line of dialogue where they're calling back to something and they're like, remember that battle and conference on floor 67? No, I don't remember that
No,
because you didn't show us that.
no, literally, like when they go and have their domestic arc on the like level 40 or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like in their little cabin,
Yep.
he's like, "Oh, level 40 has like a nice, peaceful place. We can go buy a house there." I'm like, "What do you mean? We've never been to level 40. We don't know anything about that."
Yeah.
Like,
Like, I'm glad you know this, but also them, like, adopting, like, a virtual
oh my
child.
god.
We haven't even talked about that.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. We'll always have that first arc.
Yeah.
We will always have that, you guys.
Mhm.
And I will always love that first arc.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was so special.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish that it could have been more. And I also wish they would have just ended there.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, controversial opinion. Actually, no, it's fucking not controversial. The scene of him waking up and, like, being like, Asuna, and, like, climbing out of bed and trying to go look for her and hobbling down the hospital looking for Asuna, that should have been the last shot of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Him knowing that she's awake, or not awake, alive, and in the real world and going to find her, that should have been where it ended. There shouldn't have been anything after that.
Well, and here's my issue. How did he know she was still alive?
The guy told her. Or the guy told him, the big bad guy. He was like, by the way, she's still alive. Why? Just because he says so.
Exactly. Like, they didn't even give an explanation. They had the freaking potion thing, the healing potion.
Yep.
They easily could have had it
Mhm.
where he wakes up and then he talks to his friend,
Mhm.
and his friend's like, I used the healing potion on her. And then that's where, like, we
Mhm.
go into the next thing.
Mhm.
That could have been cool.
Mhm.
We easily could have had the same villain guy start a new video game
Mhm.
and be the big bad
Mhm.
and it start all over. I wasn't even like that mad about it being a different video game. It was just like the whole plot of the new video game and the new guy was like, he wasn't even cool. He wasn't even a cool villain. He was like so weird.
He was just an incel.
He was so incel.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then the sister, and then they started doing way more creepy fan service shots with the sister.
Yep.
I was like, this is a 15-year-old girl.
Yep. First arc, yes, I have problems with it. But, like, we will always have it, and it should have been the whole show.
Yep.
And I love when Bryce Papenbrook gets to do his thing and have a romantic interest.
Yep.
But, yeah, so when you... And I knew you hadn't seen the whole show.
Yeah, obviously.
So when you...
I'm like, I'm at season 3. You're like, are you insane?
That would be crazy.
You're like, we have to cancel the podcast. This is
like, you
bad
clearly
opinion.
have no idea what you're talking about. So when you said, this is my favorite anime, that's why it was such a loaded statement to make. And when you were like, I didn't realize, like, the territory I was walking into here.
Yeah. I did not realize how controversial it was going to be. I know you had, like, talked about it once before on the podcast where you had been like,
yes,
you had said something about it, and so I knew that you had some strong opinions, but this will be a surprise to no one, hopefully. She has a lot of strong opinions. So I did not know how valid this one would be, I would agree with it.
Okay.
But now I get it.
Am I valid in my opinion? In my strong opinions?
You are valid.
Thank you.
No, but yeah, we'll always have that first arc, and I will always think about that as I watched it in Japan.
Yes.
Did you guys know I went to Japan? And that's what this
episode is about.
We're never talking about me going to Japan. It's so funny.
Okay. I would love for you to tell us more.
Okay, here's the thing about Japan that I feel like...
It was a month ago at this point.
Was it? What day is it?
It was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's November 11th.
Oh, so we landed in Japan a month ago. Because it was October 11th. I'll always remember.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing about Japan is that it's so funny to have people asking me, like, what was your favorite part? What was, like, the thing that you liked the most? What surprised you the most? And it's so boring to say, but I just liked walking around and shopping and getting food. Like, that was so fun.
The food looked so good.
It was so good. It was some of the best food I've had while traveling. It was just like being in this new world, like, it's not that different than here, but it's different enough that like I just kept while we were walking, I just kept telling Taylor like I love it here. Like I just love it here. It was so fun to just go outside of our hotel and walk. And that is what we had a few things planned to go to, but a lot of our trip we didn't have planned because we wanted to be able to do that. And I'm happy to say it lived up to the hype. It was just so cool to have like nothing planned and to just like spend all of our time walking. Our feet hurt so bad. Dude, Dr. Scholl's gel insoles. Crazy. You got to get those. That is a game changer. I am like the biggest complainer when like my feet hurt and walking all day. I hate walking. I hate standing, like all of that. Dr. Scholl's was a game changer. I felt fine. Like I felt completely fine. Taylor would be complaining at the end of the day and I'd be like, "Yeah, like my feet hurt, but like not like that bad."
Okay, good to know.
Huge game changer. A must, like a need. Um it was just like just it was so fun to go and walk to the convenience store and get snacks and go back to the hotel and watch anime. Like
apparently the egg salad sandwiches are to die for.
dude, if you know, you know. That's what I was most excited to try because I don't like egg salad, and these were so amazing. I miss them. Oh, I miss them so bad.
I heard you're gonna learn to make bread.
I am gonna learn to make Japanese milk bread, and I'm gonna learn to remake the egg salad, and I'm gonna have them because I miss it so much. It's been a month, and I miss it so much.
Is there anything else about the trip specifically that stood out?
So when you start planning a Japan trip and you Google like what to do in Japan, things that you have to do in Japan, one of the number one things is always stay at a ryokan.
Okay.
And that is a traditional Japanese inn for those who don't know. Basically, it's like the tatami floors, and a lot of them do have where they'll like set up the beds for you, like on the floor. The one that we stayed in was a half Japanese, half Western, so our beds actually were
elevated,
just regular beds, yeah. And it was funny because it was two separate like twin beds, so me and Taylor did not get to sleep together. We just slept in opposite beds, which it was actually perfect because he was sick that night, so he was just coughing like all night.
Oh, good.
And so it worked out, but I cannot stress enough how much you have to spend at least one night at a ryokan, and I don't even think you don't need to stay in a ryokan the whole time. But just to have that experience for one day was so special, and it was so, I think, do it how we did it and plan it midway through your trip, because what we did is we planned it on our anniversary day, and that was about midway through our trip, and we planned it in it's really not like in the middle, but it's like on the way to Kyoto. So we were going from Tokyo to Kyoto, and we picked a hot springs town in it's called Hakone. And so it's like in the mountains, like basically I think it's similar to like coming here to Utah and like going into the mountains and staying in a cabin, that type of vibe, or like a ski town. And so it's a hot springs town, and they have all these natural hot springs, and you are not allowed to go in them. A lot of them are public, and so you're not allowed to go in the public ones if you have tattoos. So me and Taylor couldn't go in those.
Okay.
If you didn't know, tattoos are a sign of being a part of the Yakuza. So that's why. And it's really not too big of an issue. A lot of people are like, oh, cover up your tattoos if you go to Japan. You really don't need to, as long as you look white or like you don't look Japanese, basically. Because they know that you're not part of the Yakuza as a white person, you know? But it's still something that's looked down upon because of that. So we couldn't go into the public onsens, that's what they're called. So thank you. So we booked a ryokan with our own private onsen. And it was so cool. It's this like it was so beautiful, you guys. It just being able to, it's on the balcony. So this hot spring bath is on the balcony. It's basically like a hot tub. It was just like slightly chilly there. So we're like in the hot springs. It was so cool. And the room was just so luxurious and fancy while being like traditional still. And that was like just the most special experience. And we didn't plan to do anything that day. We just wanted to hang out at the Ryokan because it was our anniversary. So we just like hung out and spent time together and just like chilled. And it was really cool because it's like we're all sore from days of just walking in Tokyo and like traveling and all this, and then we just get to like be in the hot spring bath and just chill and relax. And they have like tea for you, and then they also did dinner and breakfast for us, and it was traditional dinner and breakfast. And I will not say that was like my favorite food of the trip.
Okay.
There was definitely some food that was like more interesting.
Okay.
But I will say I think that it is something you should experience. Like,
Okay.
I didn't love everything, but I tried everything, and that's like what you should do. It's rude not to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just fun to like get to experience all these like different things, like food that's so different from ours, and then stuff that's like more similar. And yeah, it was such an interesting experience to have, and so special. And I would definitely recommend everybody do it, even if you think you might not like the food. Just do it and try it, and then have some snacks in your room. And every Japanese hotel had a fridge. Every Japanese hotel had like coffee and tea and like toiletries for us. We did not have to pack any shampoo, conditioner, face wash, moisturizer, razors,
Ooh,
everything. Toothbrush.
wow.
It was amazing. It was so cool. I miss it.
I'm really jealous. When we go, should we record our podcast in the
Yes. Yes.
Ryukin?
Ryokan. I think that's like how it's spelled. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Okay.
I feel like I watched enough YouTube videos. I think that's how it's pronounced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I watched a bunch of Japanese travel YouTube videos, and I'm
Mhm.
like, I can't think of someone saying it, but I feel like I know how it's said because of that.
Okay.
So hopefully. But yeah, I would definitely suggest that. I think you can stay in a ryokan really like all throughout Japan, and it is pricier, and that's why like a lot of the time just doing it for one night is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we did. We splurged for that one night, and it was so worth it, and it was such a special way to celebrate our anniversary. And oh, it was so cool. And it was such a cool town. Like, it was gorgeous. It just felt like the whole town was like a spa town. Like, it was so cool. And also, side note, just Japan in general, so humid. So my hair and makeup was amazing the whole time.
Oh,
Something about being in a humid climate makes my hair and makeup just glow.
It's so good for your skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was like slaying the whole time. Like, every time I did a video or like picture, I was like, I look gorgeous. And then I get back here and I'm like, I'm ugly.
No. Yeah, that's why everyone in Japan always looks amazing.
Mm-hmm. No, literally, it's like actually just the Japanese air.
I never really thought it would be like humid though.
It was super humid. Like, it was October and it was still so hot. Like, we would be so sweaty at the end of the day.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm. Like, I would even maybe go in like November next time.
Wow.
Like, I wanted it to be a little chillier. Like, in Kyoto, it was a little chillier. I actually got to wear a sweater. I was like, this is amazing. I actually got to wear like my cardigan that I packed.
That you packed.
So it worked out. Kyoto was really cool. We didn't get to do everything that I wanted to do in Kyoto because that is when we got more sick. But we still were like rallying. We were like, let's go do one or two things, and then we'll come back and take a nap. Let's go try a restaurant, and we'll come back and take a nap. And yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like you feel disappointed at first, and then it's like, newsflash, like, I'm in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in Japan with the love of my life. Why am I disappointed
living
about
the
anything?
actual dream.
Literally. That's like, oh, we didn't get to go to the bamboo forest. Like, okay, we'll go back.
Taylor got to feed the deer.
We actually, crazy, this is breaking the fourth wall.
Oh, God.
He did not get to feed the deer because by the time we got there, they sold out of treats, and like all the places that sell treats were closed.
So the picture where he's feeding the deer.
Fake. Staged. He was like trying, like, he wanted to pet the deer, so he would like be like, I have a treat, like, fake, and then they would come, and then they would like let you pet them, and then they'd be like, you don't have a treat. So they'd leave. I was sad about that one. I cried.
Real.
Because I was just so sad that we didn't get to, because I didn't really plan anything for Kyoto because we had a tour planned. And so we were planning to hit all of the big things in one day with that tour. And then we ended up canceling the tour because we didn't want to be like sick around people and we didn't know if we would feel well enough to go on it.
That was very considerate of you.
Yeah, so we canceled it. I was really, really bummed about that. I really wanted to rally, but had to be realistic. And then, so we just chose two things from that, and we did those two things instead. And Nara Deer Park was one of them. And we did that like later in the day. We did uh, Fushimi Inari earlier on, which is like the red gates. That,
Okay,
like,
yes.
So we did that. I was like, we can't go to Kyoto and not do that.
Right.
I need the Instagram picture.
Right. You need the content.
But I also really wanted to see it, guys. And Taylor slayed the Instagram boyfriend
Really?
at that place. He was like, "Give me your camera," and
I
just
knew
took the
he
camera.
would. I knew he would.
He was so sweet. And so we did that first, and then we went to Nara Deer Park. It's a little bit out of Kyoto, so it's like an hour train ride. And then by the time we got there, like, sun was setting. It was gorgeous, but I didn't realize that like they would sell out of all the treats and stuff. And so we got there and it was already like no treats. We couldn't buy anything. And then we just got there, and honestly we were there for like 10 minutes and we were like, I guess we should go back. There's really nothing to do.
That's
And
devastating.
Taylor was like, it's fine, we got to pet the deer, like it's really
That's
great.
true.
And I really like, I think the thing that's hard for me is like, as the planner,
Yeah.
I knew that that was something Taylor would really love doing because he loves animals.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I really want him to be able to do this special thing. And then the fact that it didn't work out, and it's because like I could have planned better, but I wasn't expecting to have to plan better because I had the tour book.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting us to get sick. So then we were like walking back to the train. I was like crying.
That's not on you though, girl.
I know, but you know when things just, I'm like actually getting teary now thinking.
I've never seen you
I've
cry
had too
before.
much
That's
wine.
crazy.
Is that true? That's not true.
No, that's not true. I'm just exaggerating. I've seen you cry.
But as a like
Type A.
yes, that's the thing, is I'm not super type A, but I can like I have that type A quality to me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm in a situation where I was supposed to be type A and it didn't work out, I'm like, oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
That makes me so sad. But then we get back and I'm like, we're in Japan. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why am I sad about this?
Japanese food though, slayed every time.
Slayed every time. It was so good. Japanese curry, amazing. Ramen, amazing. Kare. Ramen. Duolingo Taylor's 70-day Duolingo streak did not help us at all.
Oh, that's sad. Were you able to say please and thank you?
Yes, of course. The
And excuse me?
really the only thing we would say is arigatou gozaimasu
Yeah.
all the time with the little bow.
Sumimasen.
Yeah, that was basically it all the time. Something that I learned being in Japan and like having a lot of people not speak English or like very broken English, and like we're trying to like communicate and like meet each other at a level with like we know barely any Japanese, they know barely any English. Something I realized is that like things really are not as complicated as we make them out to be sometimes. Especially me as a person. I feel like I overcomplicate things and I have a lot of questions and stuff. I would be talking to someone and like it's just like we just figure it out and it's simple and it's like even if you aren't speaking the same language perfectly, like it's fine and you'll figure it out and it'll make sense, especially in a place like Japan where their efficiency is just amazing. Like no issues in Japan whatsoever. Oh my god, it was amazing. Biggest shock was our favorite food probably was this I think it would be considered yakitori, basically where you like cook the meat yourself in like the thing in the middle, and it was lamb. It was so good.
I'm so scared to eat lamb.
Dude, I have never really had lamb that much. I don't really have like that big of an opinion about it, but I know people are like opinionated about it. But we just needed food. A big life hack in Japan is if you want less lines and you want to like eat quicker, go up to a higher floor, because Japan is a very vertical country, or I guess Tokyo is a very vertical city. And so a lot of the times you see these lines for like a first floor place because that's where people are like, oh, that food looks good, let's go get in line. But then you go to like the 5th floor and there's an amazing place with no line. And that's what we did is we were super hungry and we just went and we were like, what food looks good? And we are like, oh, this place on the 5th floor looks good enough. Like, let's go do it. So we go to the 5th floor. We go there. They're like, lamb only. We're like, okay, we're here. They sit us down. We're the only people in the place.
Wow.
Amazing service. They bring us the stuff. We're like figuring it out. We like don't even know what we're doing. They bring us an egg in a little container and like another little container with it. We're like, what do we do with the egg? We have to use like Google Translate. We're like, the egg? Question mark. And he has to use Google Translate back to us. He's like talks into it because that's what's really cool is you have the talking thing and it translates it for you. He's like, you dip the meat, the cooked meat, in the yolk. So good. Ooh. Raw egg yolk.
Ooh, what?
So you crack the egg into this thing, you stir it with your little chopsticks, and you cook the meat, and then you take it off the grill, you dip it in the egg yolk, you eat it. Amazing. Oh my god.
That blows my mind.
It was so... Dude, the raw eggs there, I'm like, this is just allowed? Like, my American brain cannot fathom.
You can't eat a raw egg, you have to cook it.
Apparently there it's like, okay, because they aren't bad like here. I don't know. But I'm like, wow, this is like my American brain cannot fathom having a raw egg, and they're just so good. Raw egg, like with everything. Oh my god.
I'm really jealous.
I know.
I'm not excited to try the raw egg eventually, but I will.
We do need to work on you before you go to Japan, is something I learned going there.
Because I'm picky?
Yes.
Well, so are you.
I have to wear you down a little bit more. Because there was even, like, I'm pretty much past my picky era.
Okay.
I'm willing to try a lot of things, and there was still things that, like, kind of scared me.
Mm-hmm.
But I forced myself to try them, and I'm better off for it. And so we need to, I think you're almost there, but we need to do a few more things.
We need to do some, like, trials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trial by fire. Because dude, she was like, I don't like egg salad when I told her how
I don't like egg salad.
Neither do I, but you have to try new things in places. And if there's something, here's what I've learned about being a picky eater that is reformed now. If there's something that a lot of people like, there's probably a reason that a lot of people like it.
I will say that egg salad sandwiches, like when they're animated, look really good.
And you know what they're based off of, probably, especially if you're watching it in
the real
anime.
Ones. Yeah,
the Japanese ones.
Yeah,
they're so good.
I will try it, but you know what? No, I did try one also when we went to tea. It's not the same type of egg salad sandwich, but like they had them when we went to tea.
Mm-hmm.
And I ate it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's the thing
I can try new things if I like go in with that mindset.
That's what you have to. You have to go in with this mindset. I'm not gonna like everything, but I also, because something I have an issue with as a former picky eater is sometimes you go in with this idea of I'm not gonna like it, and then you kind of, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it never even has a chance. And so you have to really go in with the mindset of like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this, and then you either like it or not.
Okay.
And most of the time you end up liking things. It's crazy.
Yeah, I will say I used to hate mushrooms, but like they're one of my favorite things ever now.
Exactly. Think about all the things. You like the apple cheese salami.
She had to force feed me the goat cheese, apple, and salami on a stick.
And you loved it.
And it was so good, and I love eating it now. Okay, it is 5 p.m.
This mini-sode turned
into
way long.
A full episode.
We barely talked about Japan. We're really gonna have to cut this down.
I'm really sorry. I appreciate all your hard work.
But yeah, all in all, it was the most amazing experience ever. I love my boyfriend. He's an angel. Really, I was expecting a lot more Jujutsu Kaisen stuff. But it felt like a lot of the Jujutsu Kaisen stuff I looked up or like saw, it was like season 2, and so I was like scared to interact with it because I didn't want to get spoiled. So I really didn't interact with a lot of Jujutsu Kaisen stuff there.
It was for the best.
I know. Like I looked up the cafe that you suggested, and it was like, be in the midst of the Shibuya station. I'm like, no, I can't.
No, you can't do that. Did you go to Shibuya Station like I told you to, though?
Yeah, we went to Shibuya. We went to, like, the Shibuya Scramble. We went to Shibuya. Yeah, like, we got to experience everything there. It was pretty cool. Good.
The important thing is I want you to be able to like remember your time there while we're watching it.
Yes.
And be like, oh my god, I recognize that.
I definitely feel like when I'm watching it, I'm gonna be like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
while I was there, I was like, I do not know what I'm supposed to.
Yep, out of context.
Yeah. But it was amazing. I definitely want to go back. We're thinking about moving there.
Yeah. Gotta get back on my Duolingo streak.
We're trying to copy the Trash Taste guys even more. They all live in Japan.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, Trash Taste 2.0.
We're coming for you,
We're
actually,
coming for
Trash
you guys.
Taste.
Sea Dog VA. That's the only one I know.
I don't know any of you.
But yeah, it was amazing. I'm so glad that I got to debrief with you finally.
Finally, because we were like, we can't talk about this. We gotta wait.
I hope you like your little souvenirs.
I love them. I think the Gojo pen is my favorite.
Okay.
But I'm excited to use all of them in my everyday life.
Yay!
Yay! I appreciate it. Thank you for thinking of me.
Of course. Souvenirs are so hard as a gift giving love language person. I wanted to get everything for everybody.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you're limited.
Yeah, you're limited in space, money.
Yep. That's why you're just supposed to go to Japan with like an empty suitcase.
Literally,
and
I
your purse.
actually will do that next time. That's the thing.
We'll just like shop for everything while we're there.
Literally.
Yeah.
We gotta go back.
We will.
We gotta go.
If we're moving there, so
yeah, we are moving there, so it will be fine.
Good luck here in America, guys.
Yeah,
will
we're outta here.
Love you. Peace and love.
But yeah, it was amazing. Hopefully we can have Anime for Blondes in Japan soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
I would love to experience this with you.
Next fall, question mark?
Next fall, just every fall we go to Japan.
Okay, so we should probably start season 2 now.
Oh my god, we're gonna start season 2, you guys!
Hidden Inventories arc coming to you next week. That's what it's called.
Hidden Inventories arc.
Yep, that's
Okay.
what it's called. Coming to you next week. Get ready for Becca's reaction. Keep an eye on our Instagram if you want to know what episodes we're on. We post them before the episode comes out.
Yeah.
I don't always know what day, but like we always post on our Instagram story what episodes are coming up so that you have a chance to watch them and enjoy the review along with us.
Yeah, watch along with us. Super fun. And we are everywhere at Anime for Blondes Pod, Instagram and TikTok.
And Threads.
Threads now on Instagram. Slay. We might be on there by now. And we are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, however you prefer to listen to podcasts. Let us know if we're not on one that you do prefer to listen to, because we'll figure it out.
Yeah, if it's not too much of an effort.
We'll figure it out. We'll either figure out we're not going to do it, or we'll either figure out that we'll do it.
Yeah, but let us know. And, okay, if you made it this far, comment
what your favorite souvenir I got Allie was.
Comment who your favorite childhood Disney princess is.
Oh, yes. I would love to know who your favorite Disney princess is.
We'll see if that part actually makes it into the episode.
But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for indulging me on my Japan trip. I missed you guys.
Thank you for listening to me rant about Sword Art Online. Bryce Pappenbrook, love you always.
I wonder how much of this we'll keep in.
Yeah.
But see you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Anime for Blondes.